Hello, everybody, and welcome to Remixing the Narrative podcast. I am so excited. One, because we are kicking off season 3. This is my third season doing this podcast, which is dope. And I'm so excited because the reason I even created this platform is so that we have an opportunity to just have real conversation in our village about ways we can heal ourselves. Sometimes those conversations are good, sometimes they bad, sometimes they get ugly, but it helps us to produce change. And so the whole reason for this platform is that we can have conversation that covers a multitude of topics. So each week that we come up, you will hear us talking about something different. Today we are talking about how do we break cycles? All right, how do we break cycles? How do we break cycles, and whatever that means to you in your life? Does that mean spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the above? And so right now we're going to have an opportunity for our panel, which are all really dear friends of mine. And the reason for this podcast also being live is so we can have a live conversation even with you who's in the audience. So if you tune in, put some in the comments, pose a question, we'll refer to it. But this is really as if we were in our living rooms, if we could be in living rooms, having a conversation about breaking cycles. So this is a very, very informal friends chopping it up conversation. So to kick us off, we're gonna do introductions just so you are clear about who is on this panel. And then we're going to jump right into the topic of the day. So I'm going to start with holding it down for the fellas. We'll start with DB.
Hey everyone, I am Darrell Barnett, also known as DB. I am a husband, father, been in education since 2009. Presently, I am the financial literacy teacher at Butler College Prep, where Jarima has been my colleague, my manager, my dean, since 2015.
Yeah, man,
yeah. And I have been blessed and honored to help individuals create budgets, get out of debt, and just create a financial plan for themselves and to build that generational wealth idea within the family that's really lacking unfortunately, in the Black and brown community, specifically the Black community, because we are the ones that's hit the most. And yeah, that's been my passion, and that's what I will continue to do, as I'm definitely planning for some new launches in 2021.
Dope. Hand it off to Shannon.
Hey everybody, my name is Shannon Styles. I am a mother of 3, a wife of 16 years. I'm also a salon owner, a makeup artist, and a teacher, and a partridge in a pear tree. No, I'm just joking. I do a lot. And currently, so I am the daughter of 2 deceased parents due to health issues. So the cycle that I'm trying to break is building health and wealth in my family, and changing the generational curses of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes by just changing my narrative. So yeah.
Awesome. And moving on to Ms. Day. She got 2 things. You want me to go to the second one? All right.
Okay, I was having some tech problems. So how do I get rid of this one? All right, how do we sound?
Wonderful. Hey, girl.
All right, we got it together. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. So my name is, whoops. My name is Gote, and I'm here today to offer my insights on some of the subjects we're going to be talking about. I have a background in psychology, youth development, and hospitality. In essence, I am a people's person. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. I will probably end up being your life coach's life coach. So we're going to have a good time today.
Yes. So if you are just coming in, 2 things I want to say is that, again, this is an open conversation. So if you know anybody on the panel, want to say hi, say that. If you have a question or concern, or like you did something that say that in the comments. And also share. Please share. Share this on your platforms. If you are watching right now, share it, because I believe that it's important for us as a community to talk about how do we break cycles. And a lot of times we're not saying that we're experts on this, but all we are saying is that we want to have a conversation about how we can move forward. And so if you, again, have suggestions based on what we share, or if you want to comment on anything that's shared on this panel, please do so. And as you are watching right now, just simply hit share so it can go out to your network of folks. So my first question is, what cycles do people get stuck in? Right? So when I know, right? We just going in. We going straight in. Okay.
We're not anytime.
Saying, hey guys, hey. So you can tell us too. What cycles do people get stuck in? So we can start with whoever wants to start with answering that question. Ladies first.
Okay, I start. I can speak for myself personally, and I see this a lot. We get stuck in cycles of living out our past childhood experiences. Something happened, we didn't feel good about it, whether we were conscious of it or not. And then we find ourselves just being on a loop of having that same thing happen over and over again. And we don't realize that we're stuck in it. We're just doing it. We're just on autopilot.
So true. So true.
I would also add to that, like, we're stuck in comfortability. Change is hard. You know what I'm saying? So if we have always done something, we're going to always go back to that. And so if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And that's something that you have to continually learn throughout your life. When you set these bad patterns, it's just easy to, it's comfortable to go back to it. So that's one of them, one of the cycles that we get stuck in. Or we're victimized, but it's the way they treat me, the way I see it, you know what I mean? It's just, but you want to change, but you really don't want to change. You know what I'm saying?
Good point, Shannon, because you want everybody else to change. You don't actually want to change.
That's what I was going to say. Do people really want to change that say that? Or is it more so like, I'm more so defending they feel like they're defending themselves from you, but really it's they don't want to change whatever layers they need to change about themselves. Yeah.
That's true. Because of course people don't see nothing wrong with themselves. You know what I'm saying? I learned something a long time ago that it's different ways that it's people, the way people see you, the way that you see yourself, the way that you really are, and the way that you think you are. You know what I'm saying? So when you interact and people say things about you and speak, about your character or whatever, they be like, that's not me. Of course you don't see it because it's a certain way that you think you are. And I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So, that's facts. It's facts because I do it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those. I'm them when I'm saying that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I feel like, we're gonna get to some more like making it for home for us. But I think when I think about cycles that myself and people around me get stuck in, I think this idea of what we're supposed to be, or what we are supposed to have at certain times. And so what I mean by that is I recently was talking to a high school friend who in our college years, she was really sick. She started dealing with a lot of health issues. And she made a post, because I think New Year's Eve, the reason we're even doing this topic, because I remember earlier Shannon was like, so why you picked this topic again? And I said, the reason I picked it is because this is the time of the year when everybody got resolutions, intentions, things they want to be better at. But guess what? You probably got the same resolution for the same 5, 6, 7, however many years, right? And the reason you stuck. You doing the same thing, thinking you're gonna get a different result. And the reason I brought that up is because, again, she had some health issues, and she made a post on New Year's Eve saying, I have to get out of my own way because I thought that I should have been at a certain place by now. Like, I was supposed to have been married by now. I was supposed to have kids by now. I was supposed to have done X, Y, and Z. I couldn't control, because in her case, it wasn't like food-related illness. It was actually an illness. She's like, that took years away from me. You know what I mean? And so I feel as if I'm playing catch up. And so she was saying she, in many ways, had to get the idea in her mind of like, who said you playing catch up though? You know what I'm saying? Like, who said you were supposed to be married at 25? You?
Yeah.
Mama?
Television.
television, right?
Television, Facebook, Instagram. You
So
know, it's that life, that social
defeated.
life.
You feel defeated, but you like, who timeline am I actually following? You know, so that's why I think people get stuck, because we get so depressed about our resolutions because we felt like we should have been and did stuff by a certain time. Yeah.
I think people also feel like, you know, the beginning of the year is like a new beginning. You know what I mean? So they can say, I started January 1st. You know what I'm saying? Or I started on Monday. Like, people are really keen on starting at the beginning or at the top. When this is something, especially I know in my case, this is something that is a lifestyle. You can't keep eating like Harold's chicken and you know, Chick-fil-A and all that and be like, you know, this is a lifestyle. Your life is eat fried foods all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna catch up with you. And I mean, I ain't no spring chicken. I'm older. I know I look good. You know, my skin looks nice, you know. But I am over 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm over 40 now. And so I'm trying to be here because Black people in our community, they're dying early. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't always say, oh, tomorrow, oh, next week, oh, I'm just start at the beginning of the year. I'm just get everything out my system in December, and then I'm gonna start. Who said you're gonna be here? I mean, Corona is a while, you know, what am I saying? Alive and doing well. Okay. So we don't know. You have to live for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone put society's expectations is the reason that's the timeline we on. I definitely agree. Darrell, what do you think?
So for me, what I was going to say, and you all definitely alluded to it, but I feel like we get stuck in safe phases. So everyone, I'm gonna speak from a male perspective. When you're in your early 20s, you're a young guy, go out, have fun, do what you do, and we know what that means. But I really didn't hear a lot of men tell me, young man or young brother, what you're doing is so dangerous, and you're not aware of the consequences that can come from it. So a lot of times I went out and did what, you know, have fun in my early 20s, and now to some degree I'm paying for it in my 30s. Or we get to that, you know, we're in our 20s. Let's just say you get the job right out the college. Well, now I'm supposed to have the house. Somehow I'm supposed to automatically have a house. I'm supposed to also have the 401k fully funded each year. I'm supposed to have paid off all the debt, or from someone else, I'm supposed to just live with the debt because you're gonna have debt until the day that you die. So it's all these negative connotations and negative ideas that we have been subscribed to in different phases of our lives. When you get married, it's okay to do this. You're supposed to do this. And similar to what you said, Jarima, who said that it was okay to do these things? Mm-hmm. If we continue to perpetuate these ideals, we've already seen, us millennials, we've already seen this stuff is not working.
It's not working.
So why do we keep doing it? And the hard part for us is like, you know, definitely no knock to the baby boomers or anyone like that. But it's like, I feel like it's really harder for us millennials because we were the generation that said, no, I'm not doing that no more.
Yep.
And we had to also show what was new. And while we found out something that was new, we was learning. So like, we're now teaching you as we go. And that's not always the healthiest and the safest, but man, these safe phases is dangerous. Like, I really wish, you know, we all know the whole saying, if I knew what I know now in my teens and my 20s, I definitely would have did things differently. But I really wish I just had that mentor that could just say, do this, but don't do that. And I really wish as a man, because also as a man, we're not supposed to, according to society, you know, be a man. And for a long time, I just wondered, what does that mean, be a man? Like, that's so subjective to each person. Me being a man, I'm upset right now. According to society, I'm supposed to go out and really do some harm to some folks. I can find another brother and have a serious, sincere conversation and even cry because I'm that upset. I'm that enraged. If I cry, I'm sensitive. I'm other things.
Yeah.
Like, we have allowed ourselves to really just get stuck in some dangerous spots, and because we're so used to it, it's just like, it is what it is. You'll be all
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, it does, and that's so crazy because I'm raising two sons, and the fact that society doesn't allow you to feel, you know what I mean, like you're not even human. And you know, like growing up, and I've seen like guys that I grew up with, if they did try to show any type of emotion, it's like, boy, stop crying. You a girl, you know what I mean? And that message with you, like, no, he ain't no girl. But then you grow up, and now you're someone's husband, and now your wife wants you to feel like you're not feeling. I don't feel like you love me because you don't know how to attach to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off of what you said too. You said something I thought was so beautiful. You said safety is dangerous. And I spent a lot of time talking about the illusion of safety, because safety is actually not a thing, but we think it is, right? Because we're told, do it this way. You have to do it this way. And we get told, you know, some formula for life that we all seen. I love how you said it doesn't work. You gave me this formula. I checked the math. It actually does not work. So I'm not going to do it. So what I appreciate, and I want to affirm you, sir, because you're saying, well, I wish I had had this. And I hear a little bit of regret in that. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm glad you did it. You know, because as you know, a lot of our elders dropped the ball. They were trying to figure it out. They had their own thing going on. We're not hating on them. We respect them. We're grateful that they were here so that we could be here. However, the beauty of the new generations, that's why we say children are the future. The new generations come out and they say, oh, I see what y'all did. We're going to do a little remodeling around here.
Yeah.
Right? And the elders go, no, we don't like remodeling. This is how we always did it. We don't like your music. We don't like how y'all dress. We don't like how y'all talk. And the younger generation say, you had your chance. So I'm glad you didn't have mentorship that would force you into captivity. Because like you said, safety is dangerous. You actually supposed to go out. What is a man, right? This is adventure. I am out. I am learning how to provide. I am learning how to hunt. I am learning how to fight. I'm creating it for myself so that I can bring it back to my family. And I salute you because you're doing it. You did it. And that child that we hear in the background, it's black sport.
He wants your attention.
Remodel.
Right.
Seriously.
Let go, daddy.
I had to put it on mute. He always turn up when I start talking. I don't know why.
That's all our kids.
Just as soon as you say
yeah.
But no, I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, and I see it with our students.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
I see it so clear as day with our students, and like COVID just came and just did so much. It exposed us to so many things. I feel like if you are a person that's living in a very proactive way, it exposed you to more of yourself that you either want to change, that you want to make stronger, that you want to become, that you need to become healthier in, and other things that, you know, you really need to change that's not, you know, necessarily the best for you. And the thing that I miss, of course, I miss like physically being in the classroom with my students, but I miss the fact that my students could see a Black man that is teaching them how to become and preparing them for life, not just for a test. That's one thing that I will big up Butler College Prep. Regardless of the curriculum that's been set before us, Butler has some teachers that's like, okay, I'm gonna do this test. I'm gonna prepare you for this test, but I'm also gonna prepare you for some life stuff, because this test really can only get you so far.
Yeah.
It really can only get you so far.
Hey, pick C in life.
If you run out of time.
That should be on your next T-shirt.
Hey,
I'm serious.
Noted.
That is. Yeah. But that, like, just physically being in there, and they know, like, I can be myself. I can ask these questions, and Mr. Burnett is going to give me this answer. the trust that, we established, and me just wanting them to see, hey, what you're doing right now, I used to do that. So I already know what could potentially come of that. I'm letting you know right now, you might want to change that because it's just not worth it. Like the smallest thing for us in our community can set us back by 10 years. And I don't think we really get that until we're at the end of that 10 years of overcoming whatever it was that we had to overcome. So,
that's so much pressure on us too.
Yeah.
That thing though, I wanted to say, I think something we get stuck in as we talking about kids, and we, some of us, our parents, all of us work with children and work with families, is this idea of them being able to have a voice. And what I've learned is kind of what you said, we kind of as much as we try not to repeat what people did before us, we can find ourselves, especially me as a mother, like doing some of the same things my mother did, because I do believe my mother is dope. But there's also things that I believe me and my brother felt kind of stifled in that household. And as much as I might appreciate some things, I also understand some things I had to unlearn as I got older. Yeah. And so I find myself with Trey being like responding quickly the same way I was getting responses when I was younger, and having to question myself of like, why was that the case? So for an example, everyone on here knows my son. He's very, very vocal. All right. Yeah. He is his own person. He is going, whatever.
Root to the future, bros.
Yes, it's so weird. We'll cut to that. But so like over time, like when it'll be situations where it'll be something that happened and he'll say, like, I made him mad. He's like, Mom, you made me mad. You know what I mean? And before, I remember growing up, there was just certain stuff you didn't tell your parents or adults. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you made me mad, but I'm about to go in my room and be so down about it, whatever. Because if I tell you made me mad, that's probably some kind of form of disrespect or, X, Y, and Z. So our kids feel like they can't express their feelings. Like, but I could tell you messed up, but you can't tell me as a parent I messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find myself in that conversation because he was like, Mom, you made me mad. Because, I'm like, well, he's like, because I was mad. And I was literally in a battle of like, man, kind of in that, you just do because I'm your mama, you know what I mean? Versus being like, why are you mad? And then once he said it, I was like, you know what? I'm sorry. Because that wasn't what I meant to do. You know what I mean? And so we were able to have a conversation, but it made me think about, in that same vein, if we don't allow our kids to have a voice, I think that's a cycle we need to change. This whole idea of parenting. And not that I'm not saying you shouldn't whoop your kids and all the, because everybody got their own opinions about all of that.
You need to whoop them kids. Them kids need to whoop them.
But what I will say, and going back to teaching, these next generation of kids, they may be seen as disrespect, but they also are like, but why? You know what I mean? Like, they're the why. Like, I get it. So I get it. When I mess up, I got to reflect. I got to do consequences. I got to X, Y, and Z. But what happened when you mess up? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They that kid. Like, it's not reciprocated. Oh, that ain't right. And we could feel like, oh my God, they so abrasive, they so whatever, when I was their age. It's like, but then also, guess what? At that age, it took you so much longer to find your voice because you never could have a voice.
You didn't have one.
You didn't have a voice. So now, I can say for myself, I'm just not really coming to myself in my late 30s. It took a long time for me to feel comfortable in my skin. You know what I mean? And so that's why
I understand that. I understand the fact that kid, because I was the why kid, because I want to understand. And my mother came from because I told you to. You know what I'm saying? But I explained it. Hey, you could be mad at the end of the day, but you still gonna respect me. So we could talk about it because you still may not agree with what I have to say to you if I'm disciplining you. You know what I'm saying? But you may not understand right now, but you will understand and you still will respect me. You know what I mean? Because I have two sons, like teenage. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to come at a different, you know what I'm saying? But as a male, I mean, you.
But I'm saying, what you're saying is a difference, though, because everybody, if you don't know, she definitely don't play. But you have conversation, and that's different. I'm talking about, I'm sure your kids can articulate why their things are happening versus we used to be like, you know what, go in your room, just do what I said. You just in your room. You know why, man. But
Yeah,
No, I get teased that I talk to my kids like Family Matters. You know, when the music come on and like, well,
come
Laura,
on, family.
this is rap. I do that. We sit down and we talk. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yeah, because what we're talking about is this cycle of oppression and how our families are run, right? Because we have this idea that we're supposed to run our families like a plantation or a corporation.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not how it works. These are human beings who are showing up with feelings and literally you're supposed to be guiding them through life. I grew up in an oppressive household, you know, I was beaten frequently and told to shut up a lot. And so how did that affect me? You know, well, I was pretty much an adult from the time I was 5. So I had a mom who didn't have the emotional maturity to really raise me. So I'm raising her at a young age, but then she's beating me because I'm too mouthy. I have too much to say, right? So what I learned, not to respect adults because I didn't see any adults around me who seemed wise. I saw a whole lot of insecure adults. I saw a whole lot of adults who wanted to control, but I didn't really feel like I had places to go. Tell me, my dad was in the military, so he was gone a lot. You know, he was getting deported all the time. So it was me and my mom fighting. So me, you know, Jarima was the child who would go in her room and couldn't find her voice. I was the child who started fighting with my mother because I'm like, now we're having power struggles. Because on one hand, you want me to support you. On the other hand, you want to control me. And it wasn't working for me. So by the time I'm a teenager, we're going at it. I'm cussing her out. We practically fist fighting because I won't be told anything. I go to school, I'm smarter than all the teachers, but the teachers all of a sudden want to tell me what to do. Make it make sense. So I think what we're dealing with now, we're seeing it, right? I was kind of the rebel growing up, but now we're looking at these children, and these children are wise. They're awakened. They know what's going on. That stuff won't fly with them. So you all are not oppressive parents. We came from that. But these kids now, they're like, what's up? Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you all know this. So those who are just chiming in, again, this is an open forum. If it's something we're saying that you may agree with, disagree with, want to pose a question, you feel like, hey, I'm stuck. Y'all talking about kids, you a parent, you want to get in, please put in the chat. Also, if you're watching, share this on your platform. We want as many people to chime in. And also you see at the bottom how you can subscribe. Every Tuesday, I'll be coming on talking about various topics with different people. And as you see, we are just really just chopping it up. So I already changed the question. I don't know if y'all saw that, but we've been talking very big picture, and now we're about to narrow it in to us. So what are the cycles you all are stuck in?
Everybody like for me personally, it is weight. Weight is something that I struggle with my entire life. And I've always felt compared through growing up. Like I have an older brother that is 8 years older than me. He's a model. My brother's a model. And I've always been like, and my brother's lighter than me. So I've always been told like, oh, that's your real brother, because, that wasn't my thing. So I worked on my character. I was the funny girl. I was the, whatever. And I've never had any, I was on the cheerleading team. I was the captain of this, the coach of this. So I was always like popular in that sense. But as I got older, I think I'm just tired of struggling with my weight. I would do good for a minute. And when you lose a little bit and people start saying, okay, girl, we see you. You like, okay, let me get a deep dish with sauce. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't never lied. You ain't never.
You know what I'm saying? Then you like, oh, cool. It's my birthday. It's your birthday. I'm eating cake for everybody's birthday like it's my birthday. No. So I'm just being honest. Like, and it sticks you in that rut, and then you go right back spiraling down because I gave up because this is just too hard. This is the very opposite of who I am. You know what I mean? And so I was explaining to my children, my father was a chef. So I had to go back and revisit where that came from. So my father was a chef. He's from down south. He came to Chicago, met my mother, and he would cook he worked for a hotel. He would cook. He owned his own restaurant. So when I would come after school, he'd be like, what you want to eat? I'm going to make you some chicken tenders. I'm going to make you, it wasn't until I became an adult that I heard of kale. You know what I'm saying? My family ain't, he made some etouffee, honey. He made some gumbo. That was my father, So we didn't eat for health. We ate for taste. You know what I'm saying? And then even our communities, everything around me is fried food, McDonald's, KFC, Popeyes, whatever. But then when I go visit my brother in LA, he lives in Hollywood. So it's the shake. And then you can have kale salad with low fat and gluten free and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, you bougie. You living in a good neighborhood. Because all I see is liquor stores and fried food places. So you have to work extra hard to go shopping in another community just so I can do well and teach my kids to do better. You know what I'm saying? So I make myself, like I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I'm not motivated to work out. I'm not motivated either. I hate it. My motivation is my why, which are my children. You know what I'm saying? And I want to prolong my life. So that is my reason. It doesn't motivate me. Just like I told you this morning, I'm not motivated to take a shower every day. I need to if I want to be around people. It's not like, okay, I'm about to take a shower. It's not like that. It's something that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just being honest. That's what it is. You got to work out to take care of your body, period. Because I realize as we get older, our bodies get soft. We lose muscle definition. So you got to keep that up. So we ain't on no cane or whatever. Because I see a lot of people walking around and our foot cut off. It's too many in our community. The foot cut off. They walking with a little limp and everything because we didn't take care of our bodies, and we don't take this on our only vehicle to get us through life. So that is the reason. That's the only reason I continue to do what I need to do. Period.
Period.
That's dope.
Y'all next.
I'm waiting to hear from the brother here. I'm just like.
So for me, I'm blessed and happy to say I don't think I'm stuck, and this is what I mean by that. So, and I can't take credit for this analogy, but my pastor said it, Pastor Hannah.
Hey, come on, life.
Yes.
Come on.
So you all know, like when you see like a Olympic swimmer or a gymnast, right before they're about to do their dismount or their whatever, they usually take a step back to kind of prepare them for what they're about to do. So I could say I'm at that point. I'm in the phase right now in my life where I'm just taking that step back, because at one point I had the podcast, I had the website, I had websites. I have multiple businesses. I'm still a father. I'm still a husband. I'm still a teacher. And I was adding all these things on my plate because I knew that's what I wanted to do. Jarima and I had plenty of conversations about this. In my heart, I'm an entrepreneur. Me working for a W-2, initially I didn't like it. I'm blessed. I'm happy that I stuck through it. As difficult as it was on some days, especially considering what I'm teaching now, like my passion, and I get paid for it. But I really had to just take a step back. And when I say take a step back, I mean in every way. For the last 10, 11 years, I'm originally from the West Side. From the last 10, 11 years, I was living in South Shore. And like 1 year I lived in Woodlawn. For me, I was like, you know what? Me being a black male on the southeast side of Chicago, I didn't like for myself that when I walk down the street, I'm still kind of, if I wear my hat like this, I can't wear like this because that's the style I want for that day. I have to be conscious of who's around, what block I'm on. So for me, it finally got to the point where, my wife and I, we were just ready to move because of some things that happened. And I was like, I need to go where there's peace. And for me, I went back to the West and I went to the West suburbs. So I'm from the West Side, but I grew up in the suburbs, and I will always claim Maywood, Bellwood. So one thing in my life, I moved to Oak Park, number white folk. And that's a whole nother thing that I'm just.
That's another podcast. That's another podcast.
Yeah, that is. I've been looking at them like, okay.
Another different types of looks, different types.
Yeah, like you. Okay, yeah, another podcast.
Right.
But I came here because now I can walk around the block with my son and my daughter and my wife and not have to worry about no crap. And I hate to say it, but that is the truth. And where I stay, I'm not saying that every spot in South Shore is like the spot that I lived in.
Right.
This year, like getting a little bit into our goals, my wife and I, we was ready to buy a house. And congrats, Jarima, on purchasing your house.
Hey.
Pick up.
That's an accomplishment, man.
It is. We was ready to buy our first house, last income property. And it was just having a conversation. We're like, you know what? We can do that. But if we pay off some more debt, we can get a bigger house. Or we could get more money to put towards, because I'm big into real estate. So it's just figuring out the things that I was very big on just doing. Like, I need to have this now. I need to have this now. I need to have this now. It's like, nah, I can have that, but how does it look like in my life? So the cycle I'm in right now is just really questioning a lot of the things that I initially thought I wanted in 2020, 2019, 2018. If I had to say one thing that I'm stuck in, it actually is my health. I've been dealing with some issues. And for me, it's definitely weird. I've always been a guy that was in shape, always working out. But when spiritually speaking, when he sits you down, and now because of the ailment that you're going through, you can't go work out. It's hard for you to go walk sometimes. It's like, whoa. Everything that I really, I put finances ahead of, I made that a priority, but I didn't make my health a priority because I guess I was leaning on my previous life and my previous lifestyle, to be honest. When I was younger, yes, I could eat and I did know about the kale and stuff eventually. Growing up, I didn't know nothing about a kale. Only time we knew about kale is if our mama or grandma, auntie knew to put it in greens.
Oh, yeah, when they mixed it.
Kale our whole life.
And all that.
Mm-hmm. They never made greens in my house.
And we did mustard in college, so anyway. But like, so I was relying on my previous lifestyle of my health. Well, I'll be straight, do some push-ups, go run around, and I'm back in shape. Now, nah, bro.
No. Oh,
nah.
Real.
You ain't super omega Q no more, bro. You gotta rebuild that lifestyle. So for me, if I had to say that I'm stuck in something, I am figuring out what does a healthy Darrell, what does a healthy DB look like in 20 and 21? And how can I make sure that I'm here for this 1-year-old boy that y'all hear? I'm here for him in the next 18, 20, 25, 30, whatever. He
said exactly.
Right. I'm here for him. Because for me, when I graduated with my bachelor's, my father couldn't come to my bachelor's. He couldn't come see me walk the stage because he was in the hospital due to physical issues. And I'm built like my father. My father is muscular. But at a certain age, muscle turned into something else. And it's like that scares the mess out of me. So I am stuck in I'm in the cycle of I am making sure that I'm doing all that I can do to be here as long as I possibly can, and making sure that I'm living I have a lifestyle that allows me to be happy, joyous, peace. My kids are happy. My boy, he can be a kid. He don't have to be 8 years old like some of us. You don't have to be 8 years old feeling like he's 18 or 28. My daughter, that's another issue because her mom and I are not together, so I have a blended family. But just trying to make sure that they are happy, making sure that my wife doesn't even feel like she needs to work. That's one of the goals for me. I don't want her to have to work. It's a choice. So that's where I'm at. I'm sitting myself down. I've actually removed myself from a lot of social media, because after a while, depending on the season you're in, you can get stuck in that, because that could really be a distraction.
It can.
Yeah. And I know for me right now, social media, I'm just like, you know what? I love it. And I love it because I have good people on my social media platform. But right now, just no need to be around it. I need to really focus on some things and get some things done to make sure I'm setting myself up for the long haul.
That's good. Well, I'll share next. And I pride myself on here being very transparent because I want people that listen to hear as well. So, you know how you think you out of stuff and then God reminds you still stuck. You know, you still got some stuff to work on. So that's me. And I feel like God has blessed me, yes, and a lot. He's blessed my family a lot. It's been a really, really, like, we talk about this often. 2020 for me, I feel like was God's will. Like a lot of stuff happened that was difficult. There was a lot of things that were great as well. But I feel like in order for me to move forward, because I feel like for me, the thing I'm stuck in is when it comes to love and relationships, just being transparent. I feel like for me, there are things that I figured out and I ain't figured this out. and I think it's a combination of things that God is revealing to me. So I feel like it's a combination of me really fully being comfortable in my own skin. I think that's the thing. I think growing up, what people say they like about me now was not necessarily likable when I was younger, right? So when I was in grade school, I was always, just because of my family, always like thicker than other girls, more developed than other girls, like all that kind of stuff. But that's not what the boys in my area was interested in. You know what I'm saying? And so I would get attention in the very wrong ways. I would get attention from the older men who knew eventually them boys will be interested in that. You know what I'm saying? But the actual boys that I was in grade school with, in middle school, like I was always cool with guys and girls. And so I could fit in that way. But I wanted to be fit in as like, you saw me as beautiful. You know what I mean? Like you think I'm cute. Like I'm the girl, they telling me about who they like. You know what I'm saying? Like they're telling me, you know, what they think X, Y, and Z. And so I would question myself a lot of like, okay, what's wrong with me? Like, why won't this person find me attractive or, you know, But clearly people do think I'm attractive because I'm getting attention, but not the way I want to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that, I think that created some early concepts. So God's been taking me back to think about like where these things started. And then I think also as I got older, we talk a lot about like the marriages I saw around me, not necessarily just in my family, but just in my life period. This idea of like, man, does marriage work? You know what I mean? And when we go back to that formula, because I've seen it in all ways. Like I've seen it from ministers and wives getting divorced to high school sweethearts to met online to, I mean, it's like, what is it? You know what I mean? And so you're like, okay, I think for me, I prescribe to, I'm going to do what I was told was the right way, which is find my husband in church, right? So you go to church, you date. I mean, I was celibate to the day out to my wedding day. Like I never did all those things. And so I'm like, but then I got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and you be like, the formula. What happened to that formula?
Because guess what? Yeah. My friend who was just out there, they still married, right? or this person who
the whole person, the housewives, how,
right? Like, and then you start realizing, God, you know, I did it this way because I didn't want to be a single mother, right? I didn't want to do da. Yet this is where I'm at, you know? And so I feel like for me, not necessarily love in general and being in a relationship, but I guess I just get scared of like, do it really work? You know what I mean? Like I want to do it, but guess what? You know, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
I think it does work. It takes work. You know what I mean? Because I think the whole fairy tale with TV and the romantic comedy, we get messed up with that. And then from a guy's perspective, they look at a lot of, you know, porn and stuff like that, and they think they white need to be that. And we come into marriage with these ideals sometimes because I talk to a lot of different women, or they think like, oh, like he said, like, oh, you need to be strong, you need to be protective, you need to, and maybe you weren't taught that growing up as a man. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn in your marriage to be that for that person. You see what I'm saying? So it's like if I was married to you or whatever, it would be a different marriage than me being married to my husband because he's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people get married to multiple people, and sometimes they're the common denominator on what's wrong and why I was failing because you're not
always
changing and
the common
learning.
denominator.
Yeah. So it's just like
you.
you have to work it. You have to put the work in, and it's a daily commitment to be committed. That's it. It's a daily. It ain't like, oh, oh my God, goals, relationship go. Girl, that's for social media, baby. Okay. That is for social media.
But you know what you just said is so true, and I think that's the thing that God has been showing me is that Jarima, as I grow you don't have to fear those things, right? Because things that got you into those situations, into those relationships, into that marriage, into this dating or whatever, you were the Jarima that attracted that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You was a Jarima that chose that. You was a Jarima that longed for that. I look for those things to fulfill things. And so even when I look back to even, when you think about like even when I dated in college, when I dated when I was in my 20s, I look back like, there's no way those people we would date again. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the same person. I'm just like, and for many of them, they still doing the same thing. And it's like, that doesn't attract me. So, I think still that doesn't mean I'm not stuck. It's still, the stuck part is not that I think I will be in the same situation. I guess it is. I think I'll be in the same situation, even though I believe that there's growth in me, right? It's the fear of the same, even though you're not the same person. It's like, you're not going to produce the same thing because you're not the same. But guess what? I remember how it really felt going through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Going through, now I'm this single mom trying to figure out this. Like, I don't want to be in that situation again, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. I think fear is what gets you stuck. And
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, homegirl. You're not stuck. This whole question don't even resonate for me because I'm thinking about how you haven't been making those decisions. Because I've been knowing you since way back then. You actually have been changing how you move. So you're not actually stuck. I can't co-sign on something that ain't true. What's happening is you're fearful. You have a fear that you haven't released around the same thing happening. And I think this is a good time for you to trust yourself and realize, yes, like you said, you have changed. You're not the same. You're moving differently. So you don't even have to worry about that nonsense coming to your doorstep again because you're not the same. You're holding on to the fear of the past, but you're not that person. So I'm sorry. I don't think you're stuck. I don't say that.
I agree with that. It's like we were talking about this morning. You have to choose your heart. It's hard being single. It's hard being married. Choose your heart. It's hard being healthy. It's hard being fat. Choose your heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Either you want to breathe heavy because you can't walk or you want to breathe heavy because you're working out. I'm just being honest with you. You just have to choose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel that. Yeah.
I love it. So as we kind of come into the end, y'all so dope. How do we, and this is where I think we could start thinking about takeaways for people watching. And I hope those who are watching, because there's been a lot of people holding on and sharing it, and I appreciate that. But I think that we could talk about all the cycles that people probably like, I hear and I see myself, I'm in there as well. But what would you say is like an actionable, how do we begin to break cycles, right? We don't want to just talk about what all the cycles are. What can we give people as this what you can start tonight to start working towards breaking cycles? And I'm not just about complaining and sharing without giving people some next steps.
I think a lot of times, like, you have to do it scared. Even though you're scared of failing. So, like, in my situation, I'm scared of having the same result that I've always had. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but what if you don't? Because if you constantly keep doing the opposite of what you've always done, you got to get another result. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you just got to. It just because you already know if you go pick plan A, that's what it's going to be. It's always been as predictable. But I'm not going to say I'm a type of person that make a plan. I'm just gonna do it scared. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm not gonna give up, and I'm gonna do it anyway because, I listen to Eric Thomas a lot, and he talked about you owe you. You know what I'm saying? You commit to yourself. You always hold people to be committed to you, but you won't hold commitments to yourself. You make excuses for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm committed to being the best person that I can be to myself. And you either can ride with me with this dopeness, or you can fall to the wayside. Period. Like my little high school say, period. Period, Pooh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I like that. So do it scared.
And commit to yourself.
Commit to yourself. Do it scared and commit to yourself. I'm gonna put these.
I like that.
Yeah.
Shannon, I love that. I love that. Do it scared. That has gotten me in so many situations where I may not have had the credentials, but I walked in and did it scared, and then I ended up promoted. So I support that all day.
Just show up. Yes.
Show up. That's the first thing. I would say what I would say has really helped me is asking myself a very important question. And I ask this to probably any friend I have who's ever complained to me about anything. What do you want? I think we can get so confused by the story of whatever it is we don't like, and we get lost in the complaints. And then they did this, and then he did that, and then she did that, and then I messed up and did this, and everything's happening, and the world's falling apart around me. Okay, cool. Get all that out. And when you're done, I'm always gonna say, okay, so what do you want? Let's say use your imagination. This you don't like. So how do we get from what you don't like to what you actually want? Tell me what you want first, though. And I think a lot of times we're not accustomed to answering those questions because we've been getting told what to do our entire life. Most of us are waiting for somebody to save us. We're waiting for Jesus to save us. You know, we're waiting for our parents to save us. We're waiting for a spouse to save us. We want somebody else to figure it out. You tell me what I want. That's why we get it, right? You got romantic relationships and marriages. Well, he didn't get me this. Did you tell him you wanted it? Well, he should already know. You know, we don't want to explain anything to anybody. We don't want to talk about what we want. We just want people to magically fix it. Well, I didn't have to tell you if you're wrong. Well, this ain't about right and wrong. This is about you want something from me and you're not getting it. Shouldn't you tell me about it? So my biggest thing is take time to figure out what you actually want. After you finish the complaining, and I believe in complaining. Complain, get it all out, say it. Find somebody who you feel safe complaining to and get it all out. And at the end of it, figure out what you want and start making plans to get there. And don't feel guilty about it. Sometimes we don't want to say what we want because we feel guilty. I shouldn't be wanting anything. I should just be grateful. God gave me so much. I should be grateful. Okay, but if you are a believer in God, then you got to understand that God is an abundant God and in the blessing business. But you got to know what you want. Don't go try half doing it. Don't bring, you don't need a lot. Just bring that little bit of faith you got, but you got to know what you want if you're going to move forward. So that is my thing. Learn how to communicate with yourself with no shame about what you actually desire about life and ask for that.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I could go because Darrell, you could close us out. The first thing that came to my mind, which I just did, as y'all saw actually happen in front of you, is get out of your head, right? Like what helps me break cycles is that I have learned the power of my tribe. Like I love the people in my life. And I believe you have to really, of course, in discernment pick, and God will show who those people are. Like I can honestly say that for each person on this live, we've had a conversation and I trust them and I understand that they also coming from a good place. But I also feel like I could be able to be I could be Jarima, right? And you need to sometimes just to get out of your head. There's been many a times before I did something, like Gozea know, like if I text her or Shannon know, like I'm like, look, and she heard it, like, are you okay? And I could be real, like, no. And she gonna call me right back. She's like, okay, am I listening? Am I giving advice? What am I doing? I'm like, probably all three, but Let me just share, because guess what? As soon as I get it out of my head, then I'm able to work and be clear, right? Like even me just sharing, being transparent about when I'm working through when it comes to relationships, I needed to get that out of my head, because then it allows me to be like, you know what? God's like, okay, do you? Because sometimes God's plan is working, but we don't see it. Like I'm in it, right? I'm living in it. So many times I think it's important for us to have a tribe that we can talk to, not just so they can give to us, but also that we can be clear about what's really happening around us. Because when you're in life, you don't see the progress you're making at times. You know what I mean? And so it helps to have a friend. Like we sometimes be like, she knows she good. No, tell your friend. Tell them that they doing well, that they progressing. And, you know, because guess what? They might still feel like they grinding because they still behind. And you got to let them know, like, hey, this is what you're doing. So
Yes.
my thing is get out your head. Because a lot of times we get stuck in cycles because we like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to feel needy. I don't want to look weak. I don't want to look all these different things. And guess what? You stuck, you know, or whatever. You're not moving forward because you still relying on you.
I agree.
You gotta stop relying on you. You gotta let people in and let them be able to know what's going on. So to be accountability and maybe give you some tough love. At the end of the day, you get out your head.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. So for me, how do we begin to break the cycle? So there's a lot of approaches. One thing that the Bible says is my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And for me, when see,
He said, I thought we were talking. I'm in the discussion too.
You said we on a podcast, right?
I got some bars to spit.
Right. So it's like for me, because going back to that whole mentorship thing that I've always wished, or really just hold on.
He wants you to pick him back up. He's a part of this podcast.
He definitely is. He definitely has things to say.
Right.
He said, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
He probably got more wisdom than all of us put together because he's fresh out.
I was very serious about
He's
that.
Fresh out.
So like for me, I remember when going back to the whole mentorship thing, like wishing I'm the oldest. So wishing I had like that bigger brother, that type of person. I realized that, okay, for 20 plus years, there was just a lot of questions that I had in all areas of life. In my spirituality walk, I don't necessarily subscribe to religion. For me, it's definitely relationship, spiritual relationship, romantic life, because growing up, young man, young black boy, it wasn't love, it was really lust in the form of something that was very beautiful. You focus on her exterior, not her personality, not her anything like that. So, and that's something else that's dangerous. So for me, it's like, I need to relearn some things. There's some stuff that I know, and I know that this is not correct. So for me, I started to read a lot of books, a lot of things that people at one point, like people that I saw that was like successful, I paid attention to it. And I'm like, okay, what are they doing? And the commonality I kept hearing from a lot of people was just reading. In the religious, I just don't like that word anymore. But anyway, it was definitely having that relationship with God, prayer. And one thing that you hear a lot, but the unfortunate thing in the religious community, and I am choosing to use that word there, you have the scripture that a lot of people hear, faith without works is dead. I hate that so many people rely on prayer, but they don't do the work behind the prayer. You doing the work is not saying that I don't have faith in God. He needs to see you do the work because now he knows you're going to treat it properly, and you're going to do what he's asked you to do, because essentially all of us are here to do his work, to live out the purpose that he has in our lives. And once I just sat down, so like I'm in that's what it is. So I'm in that phase again, just in my 30s now. So I did this in my 20s. And in my 20s, like I went celibate for 4 years, no drinking, no cursing, just like I've been doing stuff wrong. I don't know what I'm doing, so I definitely believe in that doing it scared. I don't necessarily know what I'm doing, but I have enough common sense to sit down, write out some goals, to just write out some things that I don't like about myself. I feel like if people was to start there, you will really figure out where you need to go. Because some people are not comfortable saying, out loud what they don't like about themselves. Some people just don't know how to do it, and that's something else as well. Also, especially in the Black community, we always made fun of folks that went to a therapist. Lo and behold, we needed the therapist to help us figure out some things that help us decipher some thoughts that we was having that really was toxic, but because we grew up in it, we didn't know how toxic it was.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all this for a reason. If you just sit down and just allow yourself to think, what do I like about me? What do I love about me? When I'm like, that's all right. And what do I hate about me? And just write that down. Like, my thing was always journaling. I was the writer. I used to freestyle a lot and be in a lot of freestyle battles and that. So I used to write and do poetry. And because my father, growing up, I did grow up in a 2-parent household, but my father was verbally and physically abusive. I wasn't allowed to speak. So it was similar to the queen that said, I'm in this household and I'm oppressed. I can't do this. And if I say something, then I'm seen as, well, I couldn't do anything. And I was getting, to kind of put some light into it, when I was getting hit or getting beaten, I couldn't show that I was hurt. I had to just stand there and take it. So for me, it came to a point in my life, in my maybe late 20s, I said, there's some things that I just don't like about myself. There's some things that I really want better for my child. And this is what we really have to focus on. There's just some things I want better for me. And I guarantee you, if you've never said that in your life, it may sound strange, it may be funny, or because you grew up in a certain type of household, you may think that you're being selfish. You're not. You are literally declaring, you know what? I deserve some stuff. Example. Having a conversation, and I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty much like gifts and stuff. Her love language is words of affirmation. Mine's is acts of, what is it? Acts of service. Thank you. So when it comes to getting gifts for me, I realize where I am right now. The gifts and the things that I want is expensive. We also have debt, so I'm going into like a financial tidbit real quick. We also have debt, so right now I don't want to get these gifts that I like. I don't want to get these things that I like because I know that they're expensive, and I'd rather pay off debt. But it took me 10 years ago to know for myself. I need to sit here and tell myself, brother, there's some things that it's okay for you to like, it's okay for you to have. But you also need to make sure that these other things are just not in place. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to sit here and get myself because I love shoes. I'm not about to sit and have a wall full of Jordans and Timbs, which I could do. But I got debts that's preventing my kids from going to college, or maybe they don't want to go to college. Cool. I should have some money set aside to buy them their first house or buy them their first property. They don't have to go through the stuff that I went through. But I'm sitting here buying Jordans. It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And that again perpetuates this cycle that a lot of us get stuck in. So what I would really say to someone that wants to break the cycle, just educate yourself first. Even if it's by yourself, you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel isolated because it's like now you are telling yourself, hey, I love my friends or my family. But where we're living right now, I'm just not happy here. And it has nothing to do with them. It's all about me. And you're educating yourself. If your family and friends is here, you may rise up. You're not looking down on them. You're just saying, this is where I need to live to be happy, to have peace, to have joy.
Right.
I'm no better than you, but some people will say that you're now, so now you different, now you this, that. And that comes with the territory. As you're educating yourself, you will see the things that you like, that you dislike, the things that you feel you deserve, that's going to benefit you, and the things that's just, I don't care about going to the club. I never was the person that went to the club. I don't care about looking like something that I'm not. I think everybody on here, we can go get Goofy, Louie, all that crap to some degree. Go
Yep.
buy that and come and wear it, and it's like, what we doing? We got this on, and our kids is looking like this, or we still have debt, or we haven't purchased our houses. So figure out what are the things that you like. If you just do those two things, and also for me, I'm going to say build up your relationship with God, because He's the
Mm-hmm.
person that's going to guide you. He's telling you
Yep.
what you need to be doing. Son, I
Mm-hmm.
want to do this. I wanted to be in the music industry. He wanted me to be in education. I fought it for years. Every time I fought it, he looking at me like, okay, silly Negro, you get to learn the hard way. And the more I just subscribed and I submitted myself to him, he made it easier. It's going to be hard. Like she said, it's going to be hard either way. You want to be hard, sad, and depressed, or hard, happy, and joyful because you are doing something that's not only benefiting you, but benefiting other folks. The last step, I would then just say, figure out where your peace is. Because every choice we make, there's some work behind it. It's some work behind it. And honestly, you should want to have some work behind it because that makes you feel accomplished. Losing weight is not easy, especially for us Black folks, because we know how to cook better than the mother folks. I will just say that. That's my opinion. So, I feel like we need to empower ourselves with the hardships that us as Black folks have been set up against, but understand that we have been given the ability to overcome it. And the more we start to figure out what we need as a person, what we need as a man, what we need as a woman, and just freely live that out and learn how to smile and laugh and say, you tried to do something against me, but my smile is the weapon that completely destroys your plan. He will see that and say, he got it. He got it. Let me bless you with something else. As you keep doing it. Now, rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it. And you will find yourself, you was at this point, and the more you do that, you would just find yourself at a point no more where certain things that used to phase you in at the age of 28, by the time you're 30, 31, it's just like, it just does not phase me anymore. All of that could happen if you just sit down and set up a plan for yourself and allow him to do the work while you also you play your part in
Well.
it. Yeah.
I heard a lot in
Man.
there. It sounded like the main point that I was hearing, because everything you said fit into a theme of what I would say is like not being afraid to go inside.
Mhm.
Go inside and learn about yourself.
Yeah.
Educate yourself about yourself. Educate yourself with what you actually want in life. Educate yourself with the things you're interested in. Educate yourself about your spirit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing this. This is all about you.
Yeah. We can't
Mind,
be
body,
afraid to
soul,
do it.
spirit. Yeah.
We can't be afraid to do that. And I know a lot of us, we grew up in households, we grew up in communities where we were afraid to do that. If we made a decision that was solely for ourselves, a lot of times we was made to feel bad about it. Because if you have like younger brothers or, siblings, or if you have a parent that has codependency issues, you are now attached to something that you was like, I didn't ask for this. Why can't I live because you going through something? And I just feel like if we were allowed to understand what better looks like, the Black man, the Black woman, the Black household, the Black community will look drastically different and better, in my opinion.
It's already looking better. Listen, look at how all of you all are raising your families now. It's already looking better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Well, this has been so beautiful. Especially because I can't really have y'all in my living room right now. This is great to have y'all in my virtual living room. I'm sure that people who are listening, you felt full. I mean, it was so many nuggets, even for myself. I believe that, again, us having these kind of real conversations is how we begin to see progress. And I am grateful for everyone that's on here right now. I'm grateful for those who've been watching. Let's continue to make changes, you all, and not just because it's January, whatever. I don't even know what the day is. COVID made. I don't know. It's the 5th. I don't know. I don't know what the day is. But it don't matter Because guess what? That's not wait till Monday. That's not wait till a new month. Regardless, I stopped a long time ago making resolutions. I'm just like, you know what? I'm focusing on growth. and back to that, like, I'm not going to wait to grow until Monday. Like, let me start doing what I need to do right now so I can start making growth. Whether that's just making a plan, like Darrell said, whether it's really just having a vision for what I want to do next. Let's just do what we need to do. So you
got to be like that Everest commercial. Be like, do it now. Get off the couch and do it today.
do it scared. Just do it.
Do it now. You ain't doing nothing anyway.
Right. You ain't doing nothing anyway. You just bug. Get up and do your stuff now, right? So yes, do it scared. Thank you all for being on today's episode, kicking off this season. Again, thank you all for watching. We will be back next week with a hot topic, another dope panel. And you all take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.